thank you for coming back to listen to part 2 of this episode. Yeah, when I first started out that episode, I did not plan to break this up into two, but I should have. I should have had the foresight to see that this was going to be probably a pretty long episode, and I didn't want to make it a whole hour or hour and a half because, I know that can get pretty boring, and, that's just not usually the length of episodes that I do. So, but anyway, this episode, I'm going to be talking about the second half or the action parts of SAS Red Notice. So y'all sit tight for all of that. If y'all are listening to this on YouTube, click the subscribe and notifications bell to know when I post more episodes. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get back into the movie. We left off when they were first getting on the train, and there was that mysterious woman in the wheelchair. But then it goes to Sophie and Tom, and they're taking their seats, and Sophie asks Tom, how he switches on and off his job, because it should be pretty difficult for anybody to be able to do that. And she also asks him, if it were her, what would he do? Would he shoot her in the face if she was coming at him with a gun? And he answers her yes, because, she'd be coming at him with the gun. But that he says, that's why I'm taking you to Paris, to stay on your good side, kind of blows it off as a joke. And he goes to sleep there, and there's a woman across the way on the other side of the aisle, and she sees their PDA and smiles at Sophie. And then we see that woman in the wheelchair again, and she goes into the restroom, and then they show back to Sophie and Tom. Sophie is reading the newspaper, and she sees Grace in the newspaper, and she questions Tom about who Grace is, and she wants to know everything. But Tom gets up and excuses himself to go to the restroom. And we go back to the girl in the wheelchair, which we find out is Grace. And she's peeling off the prosthetics that made her face look, not like, made her disguised. And guys, this part I want to take a second. When she was peeling her face off and taking that prosthetic off, she had makeup on underneath the prosthetic. These are things that I notice that makeup comes off, makeup. Even if she put the makeup on before she put the prosthetic on, she wouldn't have makeup on, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, and I get it. But anyways, back to the story. She's taking her face off, and there's a guy outside that is knocking on the door, wanting in, and she lets him in, but she kills him. And then Tom is, of course, walking towards the bathroom. He sees her exit, but, he's not sure what he sees there, I think. And he goes towards the bathroom, and he opens the door and sees that man dead there. And then he calls the SAS headquarters and talks to his partner and tells him that he has Grace on the train with him, and that they're fixing to go into the Channel Tunnel. And so then they go back to Sophie and that little old lady, and they're talking. Sophie is wondering where Tom has gone off to, and the little old lady, says, just wait till he's older, it takes him longer, to go to the restroom and all this. And then it goes back to Tom's partner talking to the supervisor, the SAS supervisor, about Tom probably seeing Grace on the train. And the supervisor wants confirmation that it really is Grace, and so Tom's partner walks out of the room, and the supervisor is sending a text, and then right after that we see Grace get a text that she's been flagged. They're trying to tell us probably that this guy is a spy or a mole, but at this point we really don't know who is, because we do know that the SAS has a spy or a mole, but at this point we really don't know who it is. So they go back to Tom, and he's on the phone with his partner, and he tells him that he will get confirmation that it is in fact Grace. And then it goes back to Sophie and the old lady, and they're kind of bonding over Sophie's relationship with Tom and all of this. And then it goes to the Black Swan. They're getting ready to make their move, and they go in and they kill the train driver and stop the train. And then, it jostles everybody, but it's on now, it's getting real. So then they get off the train, and they go to the other side, and they rendezvous with more of the Black Swan, and they're giving everybody a briefing on what needs to be done and everything like this. And then Tom comes around and sees them, and he starts shooting at them, but they start shooting back at him, and he goes to the other side, or back to the side where the train is, and tries to lock them out, but they have explosives, and so they explode through the door, and it causes the whole side of the train to explode, sending glass everywhere and everything. And so back to Sophie and the old lady. The old lady has glass in her leg. And so Sophie's trying to help this lady, trying to help everybody, because she's a doctor. And they show Tom trying to get a hold of Sophie, but she doesn't hear the phone ringing because she's tending to the old lady there. And then Grace, she's giving orders to her people to find Tom because, he's armed and skilled. And so, but anyway, and it goes back to Tom, and he's trying to make his way back to Sophie, but the Black Swans board the train by this point, and they start making their demands to the hostages, to sit still and get back in your seats and all of this. And through some of the chaos, Tom gets out of the train again, because, they kill a man because he wasn't sitting down and all of this. But then he gets out of the train, and he calls his partner again and says that he doesn't know what's happening, but he's going to try and find out. But his partner's telling him to just wait till they get there. But he tells them that he tells his partner to just text him when he gets there. And he's going to keep trying to search the train. And then it goes back to Sophie, and, or it goes to Grace, and she's in there, and she's giving her demands to the hostages to just stay in their seats and they won't get hurt. And, of course, through all of this, Grace checks the pulse of the old lady, and, of course, this old lady has already passed away. So, and it shows Tom, he's outside of the train, and he's taking pictures of the situation, and he's sending them to his partner, and his partner is talking to the supervisor about, what Tom is doing, and the supervisor is telling his partner to get him out because he's putting innocent lives in danger. But Tom, has confirmation that it is in fact Grace doing this, and then the SAS are making their move to come to the tunnel